All right, welcome to our meeting here at Mercy. The purpose of which is to network folks on the issues with medical cannabis here in Oregon, helping folks to get their cards, to find medicine now, to find a grower or to get growing themselves in the long term, and best methods of medicating are the top subjects that we discuss here at the Mercy meeting. We hold this meeting every Wednesday,
If you want to take notes.
7 to 9 p.m. at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast. It is free and open to the public, so please, if you're interested in the medical cannabis program, come on down, check it out, and get answers to your questions as well as networking to resources. If we're able to round up any excess medicine, this is the best time and place to hand it out. So folks are encouraged, if you're looking for medicine, to come here to Mercy and let us try to help you network to that source. Hello folks, welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, is there any patients looking for a grower? Couple?
Maybe. I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I know there's plenty growing.
And also, is there any growers that are looking for patients? Probably not, okay.
It's like I have a guy that said if I get my card, he'll provide for me.
Okay, good. So you got a grower lined
So
up.
we want a card, basically. We want information to get the card.
Like I already went to my doctor and told my doctor, you know, that I want medical marijuana. She said that she won't approve it, but she said that I could go find another doctor that would.
Well, yeah, what you want to do then is get your records from that doctor. You particularly want chart notes documenting the condition that you're applying for.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, it sounds like you won't have any trouble getting those.
Yeah, not at all.
So that's good, because sometimes the doctors will mess with you on that too, to try and
Especially with the
whatever.
Oregon
But
plan.
so that's good, and then so that's pretty much what you need. Now you can utilize our doc. We have a doctor that comes into town once a month, and she will need 3 visits from this previous doc, no more than 3 years old.
Well, I'm on SSI for arthritis, and I have hepatitis C, and my left foot got burned real bad years ago, and I have a lot of problem and pain with it.
Pain then probably is the condition, yeah.
Yeah.
So you want that pain noted in those chart notes.
Okay.
And that's what you need. Now that's pretty much standard. So if you end up at another clinic here in Salem or elsewhere in Oregon, they'll probably have the same requirements.
Oh, okay.
So you want to get those 3 records, and then and then check the various clinics and see who has, what their time frame is and what their dollars are. Our doc charges $200, for example.
Okay, now that's what I was just going to ask. Like, I've been told that that all this is going to cost me is $120, like $100 for like state license, and then the other $100 fee they think because of my SSI would be cut to $20.
Correct, yeah. So there's 2 fees involved. There's the doctor, and that's why we try and encourage folks to get their regular care physician to sign for them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a value. Your doctor's probably with some clinic or something, and so that's
Yeah, it
probably
is.
the background to it.
I think it's government operated clinic.
In some cases, it's a matter of education.
Well,
There's
yeah.
some doctors that say, I don't want to prescribe smoked medicine.
Oh, I hear
And
you.
in Oregon, they're not prescribing. The doctor just signs a form saying that you have one of these conditions. So that's an important thing to educate docs on. They're concerned because when you prescribe, you have to report to the DEA that you're involved.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Um, And they don't have to do that. That's not done in this case. So educate them on that, and that may be a factor.
Can you say that again, please?
Well,
The doctor only needs to...
he just signs the physician's statement that says you have this condition.
Okay.
They're not filling out a prescription form. That's not going to the DEA. Like when they do a prescription, that's a DEA approved thing, particularly if it's scheduled.
Like I have PTSD. So
Mhm.
my doctor says, Lucia has PTSD.
That's not one of the conditions though.
The PTSD isn't going into effect until January.
Oh, January.
So you'll
Arthritis.
you can get that, but you won't be able to use it till then.
Okay, that's good.
You have other conditions though?
I do.
Yeah. And that's what the folks have been doing, and will continue to do until January.
It's osteoarthritis is one of the conditions, isn't it?
Not specifically, but pain from that is.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, it's the pain relief.
hmm very much so.
I have carpal tunnel, and I use a healing ointment.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, so you have pain from your arthritis, so that would be your qualifying condition, pain.
This
from
pain,
the
yeah.
arthritis.
Now, another thing to be aware of is that symptoms from your conditions or medication you're taking for your condition may also qualify. Some of the folks with PTSD, if they were taking medication for it, same with bipolar and other things. If you're taking medication that makes you nauseous, then nausea is a qualifying condition. But what you need to do again is get that doc to get that documented and get them to sign on it or go to one of the specialists. So,
And in my condition also, like, I have a hiatal hernia.
mhm.
And, you know, taking any kind of, like, codeine or anything like that just makes me sick.
Mhm.
You know, like, I mean, if I have to take a medicine that's gonna make me to a comatose state where I'm out of pain, then I need something like that.
Mhm.
But, you know, if it's just like from arthritis and stuff, I'd rather live without my, you know, I'd rather just smoke pot. This ain't bad enough to take a heavy duty drug, and
Mhm.
you know, I'm not gonna do that. Like, if I have to just smoke pot, I'm just gonna smoke pot. I don't care who says what.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
and that's what a lot of folks
I
are
mean, right
turn
now,
to, you know.
Right now, putting $120 into it is almost more than I pay for a year.
Yeah. Well, some folks, it can run up to like $500 for the whole package for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
yeah,
like the
so-
doctor is $200. There's some places around that have various
now,
pricing things.
my Oregon health plan won't cover the doctor?
Afraid not.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
It's good.
The and then there's the registering with the state, which also has a fee involved.
I thought that was $100 fee
Do you
that.
mind
For
if we-
somebody on SSI, I believe it's 20
Yeah, it's
for registering.
20 to, the fees vary, but I pay 20, I'm on SSI.
Okay, so right now you're sounding like it's gonna cost $320 just about.
220 now is what we're hearing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
what I got.
200 it's 200
Oh.
for the doctor,
Oh, okay.
and $20 to register.
Right.
Okay. I thought you were saying 200 doctor, 100 state, and then
No.
20 register. Okay, but okay, 220.
Now,
Okay, now
if you
now
designate
we're talking
someone
about
for your as your grower, they try to stick you for another $50 for that.
Okay, now if I say, okay, now who can I name as my grower for free?
Well,
Yourself.
what you can do, how they
Yourself.
base the
Well,
grower
okay,
differential.
Well, what I can do is I can just grow for myself and grow at the guy's house where I want to grow, right?
You could be the grower and use his place. Yes.
Yeah,
Another
there
thing
you
that
go.
that could be
Well,
done is
well,
that
that's all I need.
you put his address down and yourself for the grower.
I mean,
Because what they base it on is the name.
Yeah.
If the name is different, then you have a grower. But if you put your same name down, then you don't have a grower. So you could, if your grower has other patients, then he has a card and he has protection.
Okay.
And you can put your name down, use his address,
Uh-huh.
and you won't pay that $50.
Okay, cool deal. All right.
And as a card holder, if he has another patient,
Uh-huh.
then he can still help with your garden.
Uh-huh.
He could, for all purposes, be your grower.
Okay.
Then,
Well,
Say.
I
but you would save that $50. You just got to put his address down.
I have
He's on the address, okay?
I have like 5 family members that are card holders.
Good, good.
So you don't do
That'll help.
their address.
Also, on the registration part, there's the grower, there's the patient, and then there's a person called the caregiver.
Uh-huh.
This is a third party who's assigned a card, and they're allowed to carry your medicine, to hold your medicine,
Okay.
to help you prepare it, other things like that.
Uh-huh.
If you have a friend or family member that's likely to be in the vicinity, this person can then make runs for you, can do stuff for you. Or if they're just going to be in the vicinity, if they're liable to be with you on a regular basis and so forth, or at the place while you're gone and your medicine's there.
Yeah. So pretty much the 3 of us could handle the medicine off one card?
You could designate one of these people as a grower, another person as a caregiver,
Yeah.
yourself as the patient, yes.
Yeah.
Then she gets her card,
Uh-huh.
you become the grower, so forth like that.
Yeah,
Although you don't want a different name on the grower,
exactly.
because they'll charge you.
Okay.
So, and then, so that's all your things as far as the doctor, your registration, and then payments to the state, the 50 for the grower, and their pay scale is 200 for regular registration, 100 for food stamps, and another thing I escapes me at the moment, and then 20 if you're SSI.
Uh-huh.
So,
I got food stamps and SSI.
so that looks like, and if you put yourself as the grower, yeah, it would be 220 to end up getting your card there in your case.
Wow, that's awesome.
So the process is then you get your records together from your doc. You go see you bring them to Mercy if you're going to use our doc. We'll vet them, make sure they're good, and pass them on to our doc. Her assistant will then call you and make an appointment. And it's usually like the second Saturday in the month is when she comes.
Okay.
We also have a list of all the other places here in town as well as through the state of Oregon on our webpage. And we have copies of the Oregon Cannabis Connection, which is another good source for all the clinics in the state. So you'll go get your paperwork together, submit it to the place. They'll some places have walk-in. They'll do it there. If you go up to Portland, for example, you may end up doing that. Get your appointment. Go see the doc. Conducts the exam. Signs your paperwork. Okay. Our doc will make copies for you and all, so that when you leave, you'll have your packet all set to go and mail out. But if you don't, then you'll want to make sure that after you get your documents signed, you make copies of them. 2 copies would be good. Because 1 copy you're going to carry around with you, along with your certified mail receipt, until your card comes along. This is your card. This is your proof of purchase.
Now, if I like, can you be named as grower here? Are you say is the resource center, or no?
The resource center could be put down as a grow
Well,
site,
Now, if
but you really
someone
wouldn't.
did that, how much would you be paying for your medicine?
Well, you won't do that because we're not growing here.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I say you can put down any place for a grow
Okay.
site, whether or not you're actually growing there.
Uh-huh.
That would enable that place to then have plants there, have medicine there on a regular basis, and so forth. This facility isn't big enough for growing, so we're not doing that. Yes,
You're not on the internet.
we're not streaming.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's a good-
It should be. I don't know why.
Okay. Well, we got
See
the
what you
television
make
bars
Thank you.
on the computer in the office.
Oh, there's somebody now.
Okay.
So you said you mailed them somewhere?
So you've got your forms all together. You've made your copies. You mail it to the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program up there in Portland. Let me bring up the exact address here for you.
Is that where you get the forms from?
Yes.
Oh.
So if you want, you can contact them, phone or yes, phone actually.
Yes.
Not much on the email, and they don't have an office anymore.
Okay.
But if you contact them, they will send you a packet with all the forms and some instructional informational. Just go on. Okay, good.
Okay. So you're going to give us their number, right?
Yes. It is. I forgot on the homepage.
So, do you think it's going to be legal next election?
If every single one of us treats that as though our lives depended, if you told everybody you know and get them to tell everybody we know, if we registered everybody we know to vote and
Yeah.
got them to vote,
Uh-huh.
there's a possibility.
I hear you.
The last election cycle,
Yeah.
it was horrible percentage of
Oh,
people
was it?
voting.
Oh.
And I don't know how many of our own folks voted no when they did.
I thought
Because there was a lot of misinformation about how the thing that was going to come in was going to mess with something,
I
you
thought- I
know.
thought it was close to passing this time in order.
Yeah, so did we. We had, it was, you know, everybody was supposedly, you know, when push came to shove, people didn't go to the polls.
Got on board though, huh?
I think we're waiting to see how it goes with Washington.
Yeah.
That's what the legislators are doing.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the excuse they gave us.
I almost like the medical marijuana laws better.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I almost
Well,
like them better. You know?
Yes and no. I personally,
But they need to make it as easy as going down to the doctor and getting a prescription for my pain medicine and not having to run through all this jump through hoops stuff.
I don't think it's something that is worthy of a prescription. I don't think that.
Well, it should be more controlled than Tylenol 3.
Right. I mean, there should be like a Schedule 5 at best. I mean, at worst, there, you know.
Exactly.
See, and
Just jumping through
And
hoops,
you
it's
can
just
do
easier
the
just to smoke like I'm doing right now.
Right.
I mean, I'm not missing it.
Well,
I mean,
see,
it's-
yeah, we haven't forgotten you on
But
that.
I
We're
want
gonna
to
get
be
there.
legal too, you know what I'm saying?
Um,
I want to be legal.
But yeah, I mean, it's horrible that folks have to go through all this stuff, and the reason that they do is what really needs to be challenged. Hold on a second. The address is 800 Northeast Oregon Street. No, wait, that's the Pro Visit place. P.O. Box
Okay, well,
14450.
14450.
Yes, 50. Portland,
Okay.
or 97293
293.
dash
Mm-hmm.
0450.
Okay. Like that. Oh, here.
Their phone number,
Mm-hmm.
971
Yeah.
673 1234.
Oh, that's easy.
Is that medical tea?
Then you
Medical
like-
oil.
Right.
Oil?
So,
Oh, well,
yeah.
do you just take that, or?
On the one hand, I'm glad that it's cannabis is recognized as medicine at some level,
Mhm.
but
This is
the
what
you
people
folks are
do
forced
above and
to
beyond.
Oh,
to
yeah. What I need?
register with the state and pay this obscene
Totally,
protection money, amount of protection money, because you are evil and dangerous and you need to be watched. That's why you have to register with the state, because marijuana, it's marijuana, and that is a lie. And so I'm not good with that, you know.
Yeah.
And so I prefer something more medical, more scientific to be the basis rather than this political crapola, this reefer madness that is the basis for that. So it's a two-edged sword for me to both agree with, support you guys, and all that, and yet, no, don't, you know, we need more people to, it's unconstitutional for you to force me to get this, pay this money so I can have medicine.
I hear you.
That's freaking
Exactly.
wrong in America, that
Exactly.
only if you have enough money can you get the only medicine that works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and when we have enough people challenging that and saying this is wrong and demonstrating it, then yeah, we'll break the bank on that prohibition, and all the way down the line too.
Yeah.
And if we want to end prohibition, the real issue is hemp. Once we got hemp seeds planted and harvested, it's game over, because that's the real thing.
Uh-huh.
You know, legalization, they got the DEA and the billions of dollars there. A medical, you got big pharma, that's billions of dollars, sure. But with hemp, the forces are laid against it that it's competing is big oil and big textile and big timber and construction, I mean, all the way down the line. So all those special interests, all those industries,
They don't want it.
you know.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm really encouraged by the news that Vermont has put forth a hemp law that nullifies the federal requirement.
Oh, wow.
So they're saying, you guys, you go plant hemp. We're not going to let the feds, or we're not going to, follow the feds ruling on that. What would happen? Would they go in and raid them like these medical marijuana folks? Sure, probably. There's a precedence for that. Back in 2005, a tribe attempted to plant hemp on their sovereign land, It was the White Plume tribe in North Dakota. They actually got their seeds planted, brought their crop to fruition, but the DEA swept in at harvest time and scooped it up and hauled it all off
Oh.
and screwed them.
But not only that, the more we're forced to look other places, you know, the more they're gonna try to be sneaking that stuff across the border. You know,
Yeah, I mean, they're completely,
you know, we got-
in the past year, they've had a real campaign against medical cannabis here in Oregon. You may have seen the papers. I'm sure they certainly publicized certain ones a lot that they wanted to and so forth. What they didn't publicize is how many 20, 50,000 plant gardens they ignored. They let go. You know, they swept up 1,000 plant garden down in Southern Oregon to make a big show, la la la, but that's drop in the bucket, you know? I mean, they're doing everything but putting up billboards saying, go black, because we're after the medical marijuana. I mean, black market, go black market. They're, you know, ignoring it. They're doing, you know, raise the prices, they put that focus on there, and we are seeing some folks, you know, commenting and saying, hey, that's wrong. You know, we did get this 3460, the dispensary bill, so we'll see that March 2014. That'll be a big help.
PSD too.
We got PTSD added coming in January 1st.
Uh-huh.
And we got legalization discussed. We got the bill up there. We put it around. We got some hearings on it. We didn't get enough support from the people. We had more people calling their legislators, like we did on the PTSD, and we needed every single one of those. My God, it was like 11
Wow.
senators and I don't know how many representatives. We got like 55-60% out of the thing, but you know, I was kind of concerned about so many people saying, no, people should be allowed to PTSD. Our soldiers should not be allowed marijuana for PTSD. They should be harassed and busted and made their lives, you know. And to have some of these guys, you know, I'm sure all these guys, we can catch them with film about when we're shipping them off. You got to support our troops. You got to support our troops. Now they're back and they're, ooh, you know. And it's not like the concept is foreign to them, because they had something in there about drunk driving, soldiers and veterans who are drunk driving and blah. And let's do something different than just, you know, ruin their freaking lives. I'm great with that. I don't mind that. Yeah, there's a double standard, and I'm good with it. These folks, if anybody deserves it, hell. But that being the case, why not cannabis? You know. Oh, that's right. Marijuana is more evil and dangerous than alcohol for some of these guys.
Stepping stone.
Can you believe that?
It's a stepping stone to all them other drugs.
We got video of one senator on the floor saying, "Don't take that marijuana. You just go get yourself a bottle of Jack Daniels. That's what you need." My God!
It's
You know?
It's insane that they'll give you a drug for your pain
Yeah.
that says if you overdo it on this, you could kill yourself.
Right.
But cannabis,
Yeah.
you go out and eat the whole damn
Yeah.
plant. You're
We
not
won't
gonna
allow
eat.
we won't allow marijuana because it might kill you. It might give you cancer. It might do this, might do that. But the stuff that actually do it, we'll do a commercial and we'll just say at the end of the commercial, oh, by the way, this might kill you. And you're off the hook. What the hell? You know, no, that makes no sense. All these double standards they do, all this crap, it shows that they're a bunch of lying jerks. And
You see a rash, that's a fatal rash. Go to the emergency room.
yeah, this guy, you know, not only is he disconnected with reality, I mean, who actually lives in this world and has experience with friends and family would say that, yo, it's better for you to go get drunk and to live a life with alcohol as your medicine
I mean, if
than
there was a bottle of
cannabis.
If there was a bottle of pain medication there and a bud sitting there and a baby walked up and ate either one of them,
Oh, you want
like
that?
he could die off that one, but if he eats that one,
You want that?
he's gonna fall asleep and get up and crawl away and never know what happened.
Right, you're gonna have the best night's sleep of his life and be refreshed.
You never know. I mean, but,
The,
you know,
the worst thing is a little bit of grogginess there, but no cancer, no death, no overdose. And not only is that guy dislocated from reality,
Yeah.
you know, regular folks and all,
Uh-huh.
he had to completely ignore the testimony of all the veterans who came up and talked about their friends that they had to bury because they're and all the issues they had, you know, all the things they did to try to deal with this.
I mean, yeah, you know, yeah.
I mean, he just blew them off, and that's the thing. That's another thing that torques me off. You know,
Oh, yeah.
this guy had to completely ignore all the testimony of those veterans who testified.
Wow.
So it's a sign, though, that we need to keep it up, and
Continue.
yes,
Right.
You know, that's the only way we're going to get legalization and free, full medical access for everybody. You know, the children especially. You know, because the children, yeah, children for medical cannabis for children. You know, that's not a done deal. They tried to come at that aspect this legislative session too. We got a number of good bills, but there was 40 bills in play, and most of them were negative.
Oh, wow.
But we stopped them all. Thank God. A lot of good folks working hard there. We do a shout out to Anthony Taylor of Compassionate Oregon, for an example. Jeff Sugarman and Sam Chapman are a couple of heroes during this legislative session. So we'll throw those out while we can.
Is that edible or just rubbable?
You can eat it. It's
Cook some
olive
eggs?
oil.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
It's not a solvent-based. And we'll talk about the application methods here in a little bit. So you sent your paperwork in, you went to see the doc, you got your signature, you sent your paperwork in, and you kept your mail receipt in with your copies, and so now you're a medical cannabis patient. But what do you do now? We don't have dispensaries per se. You'll need to come to Mercy, get someone to give you medicine. Hopefully you'll make a donation to the organization so we can keep giving people medicine. But that's the only acceptable means. I mean, we give you medicine without consideration. A patient can reimburse their grower for expenses they've incurred. So anything that the grower can give a paper for, a piece of paper, here, I've got this. The patient can write a check and give you cash and talk weights and amounts. I need X ounces of pod. Well, I need X amounts of dollars of money. The problem is when the grower wants to be reimbursed for labor, or the grower wants to be reimbursed from a patient that's not his. Cardholders to cardholders, you can give medicine, but no consideration. Money cannot be exchanged or anything of value.
I
See.
hear you. I hear you. I understand.
So there's a number of places in town that work on the basis of clubs, cafes, and stuff. You'll come in, you'll get membership. You may have a day use fee, but there's cannabis medicine available inside the facility.
Oh,
Some places will also have growers there that you can network with, either to see if you want to they add into their garden system or possibly get some resources, start growing yourself. If you want to get growing yourself, or you need to get plants and such for your grower, or would like to, it's the same thing. You have to get them from someone.
right.
If you were to do a mutually beneficial gift exchange that didn't involve, I mean, if you're giving that person money without expectations. You know, if you're going to give them and you were perfectly happy to go away and not receive it, and the guy says, "Oh, by the way, I happen to have some medicine." Oh, well, okay, thank you. Where it would become a problem is if you discussed weights and amounts.
Exactly.
See, if you held a bag up to, "Hey, this isn't enough. Oh, it's more. I'm going to get stuff like that," you know. So, just eliminate all that. Just make it, what it should be. Us helping each other, you know. So that's about the best you can do, and trying to find people working that manner. There's some places that once you're inside, they work pretty much like a dispensary. They got menus up in the thing, and you go in there and say, "I want X grams of this. How much is it going to cost me?" And you shout your money, and you take your medicine, and go. And you can you hope that it's not being recorded, or you don't get raided during that process.
Oh,
Now,
yes.
what I understand is you're allowed like 6 plants in the bud stage.
You're allowed 6 plants mature,
In the bud stage.
and you're allowed 18 immature, as
Okay.
defined
And you're
by
only allowed-
height.
And you're only allowed 1 pound of cured marijuana?
No, you're allowed 4 pounds per plant. Or ounces, I'm sorry, ounces. So yes, pounds, sorry, I better get that right.
4 ounces
Jeez,
per
get a bunch of
plant.
people accepting there.
So that's 24 ounces?
Yes.
Okay, so you're allowed,
I'm not sure what that converts to. Is that a pound? Half
Well,
pound?
well, pound's 28 ounces, or no,
So-
16 ounces,
16
yeah.
Yeah, pound and a half
So
there.
so you're allowed a pound and a half, yeah.
And if you're a grower, you can have up to 4 patients.
Uh-huh,
So that number would be
yeah,
multiplied by 4. That's allowed on the premises.
exactly.
When you have the
So a lot of
doctor
folks form
coming-
cooperatives and stuff then.
When you have the doctor coming up, April 20th, I think it was, 4/20, I brought all my papers and all that.
Uh-huh.
Here, is that what you do when, like, you bring your medical records here?
Yes.
And then
To see the doc that we bring in, she requests that we vet the records and make sure they're good, and then we'll pass them on to her.
Yeah,
And her assistant then calls the folks to set an appointment.
oh, okay.
Because we had too many.
Now those appointments,
We
how
need
far
to-
down the line are they being made to?
Please, please.
Mhm.
If I tried to make an appointment, how long down the line before I could get it?
Well, you get your papers to us, we vet them, make sure they're good, give it to the doc. We're hitting September, so second weekend September probably.
Okay, so only a couple weeks, okay, cool.
Yeah, as far as your time frame.
Right on. To save your money.
So, okay, bring the papers here,
Mm.
you assess, make sure everything is here correct.
Yeah, we vet them, we make sure that you've got a chart note, it's signed by the doc, it mentions the condition you're talking for. So that's that. Okay, that's one record, and we learn. Okay, here's another record. Okay, here's your 3.
Yeah, it has to be for the same condition. Can't be like pain in your toe and, no, it could be.
Nausea, and then yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's for
nausea
that condition.
and PTSD or whatever.
The arthritis is always.
Yeah,
Same
it
condition.
has to be pain.
Same painful condition. That's the consistency of it, right?
Yeah, getting that pain, in your case,
Mm-hmm.
noted on those in those chart notes there has pain from. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Takes this for pain
Right.
is another thing. Another piece of documentation that's acceptable is if the doctor sends you to a nurse practitioner, a naturopath, or other
Mm-hmm.
for some treatment or diagnosis. See, so an NP, a nurse practitioner, who writes down that you're taking so and such for pain, and it was referred to by the doc. The doc's name is in there, referred to by your doctor. Then that's a good record, also. So for folks that don't see their doc all the time, but somebody else.
My doctor sent me to another doctor to look at my knee, and
Okay.
you know, like I went there, and he told me that I'm probably looking at about 5 years before I get to gel, and then probably about 10 years before I be looking at a prosthetic knee. But and I asked him about medical marijuana. He said no, he don't do that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, he probably can't sign. He's not a DO or an MD.
Another dead end road, no. But
It has to be an MD or a DO that signs your chart notes and signs your attending physician statement for your OMA and so forth.
So
But
just
if they
go the
refer you
doctor
to it-
that they have here.
yeah, I know that's what I thought. Yeah, the phone
I think
number's
her
right
name's
there, but-
Stephanie or something.
Cindy Cote.
Oh,
If you need to, if the place where you're at will only fax, they don't like to print them out, or they don't want to just hand them out. They prefer faxing them to a doctor
Right.
sometimes. So Dr. Cindy Cote is our doctor, and the fax number is.
Yeah, get that fax number because I'm gonna just have them fax it straight to her and try to give me,
Is
try to give me a corner there with.
hold on a second. Fax.
Sorry,
Oh, we took it off of here. How clever of us. Oh, no, here it is. 503
Mm-hmm.
391 7782
what do you say for your second?
is Dr. Cindy Cote's fax.
How do you spell her last
Yeah,
name?
but he.
Her last name is COTE,
Mhm.
apostrophe above the E there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you just write yourself as a grower. That's how you said.
COT.
Yeah, I think between the three of us, we should get one phone card,
Okay.
and the three of us can handle that.
Very interesting last name. So you can fax her the prescription here.
If that's what your clinic would prefer to do. If you go in and request the records and there's any noise about it, any blah, blah, you know.
Yes, yes.
or usually they'll come out and say, well, can we fax them? Is there a doc we can fax them to? Or is there a doctor? Well, which doctor is this going to? Maybe is sometimes.
Yeah,
the
that
sense.
makes sense, yeah, cause they wanna know, it's a,
Well, if it goes from doctor to doctor,
Mhm.
there's a lot less concern about the privacies and the HIPAAs and everything else. So
exactly.
just makes it a lot
That
cleaner.
makes sense.
I just went and picked my records up from the medical records place.
Okay.
And then signed the release to myself, and then I brought them in.
Okay. Yeah. And if they talk about a release form, you do that. We don't sign a release form. You
Yeah.
sign the release form.
Correct.
So them saying that they need to release from the doctor or somebody else is they're mistaken there.
Mhm. You know, that's why we came here, to get correct information and ensure we can start the process in a timely fashion.
Good. So, we got your card there. You got your stuff lined up. You're gonna see the doc. You get signed. You know you're gonna need to play the game of finding something in the short term while working on your long-term solution,
Mhm.
getting your grower or get to grow yourself. Now, the medicating is something we should talk about because that's all wrapped up in there. Because you also know or may have some questions about, you know, friends and family and work and travel and everything else there that goes with it. And
Okay.
so when you're dealing with cannabis in its vegetative state, you've got one set of pros and cons. Because that's the quickest, you know, boom, right there, medicate, get it in there, take care of the things, the hurt, the nausea, you know, what's hitting you. And probably the anxiety that's going along with these things too sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But for folks that are working and might be tested and stuff, plus, and we get a number of folks that retired, elderly, if you will, whether or not they're concerned about reefer madness or what have you. They don't want to smoke it. They're concerned about getting too high and things like that. So we're looking at alternative. In some cases, we've actually, for some people's cards, normally when you want to maximize your THC potency, you'll extend your shutdown, your night, you know, the light down, you know, to kind of keep it in that state, you know, to max out your, fake it out there and say, oh, this is a really good long summer here that we're ending up with, you know, and that thing. And so with folks that are concerned about getting too much THC in their stuff, we do the reverse. I know one chap that even, you know, has his grower take the crop and take the buzz, the really potent stuff, and give it to others. And he takes the leaf
I smoke.
and uses that but then he's kind of like an old tobacco person. He rolls his own and you know medicates that way.
I quit smoking cigarettes 1107, and I like to have leaf to smoke in the morning. You know, like you know, and I roll it like a cigarette, and smoke it like a cigarette. You know, and you know, it takes the edge off a little bit in the morning, and I don't get stoned. You know, and then like before my nap, then I like to smoke
Right.
a little bud and take a nap, and then get up and you know smoke a little leaf. You know, take the edge off. You know, and yeah, but I you know I don't like to get stoned early in the morning.
Right. So there's also vaporizing for folks that you know get away from the smoking
I
aspect.
haven't done that yet.
And of course the medibles, making cookies, brownies, other food stuffs with it, which would include tea. And that's one of the first things that we tell folks about. That's another easy way. You can make that there, it's deliverable, and it's controlled dosage a lot.
Awesome.
And but then you're going to want to know make sure you get the same thing all the time, know your potency and stuff. So maybe a bit of trial and error. So it's best to start off light. If you make cookies and brownies, have just a little bit, wait to see the effect, and then progress. You don't want to consume the whole thing.
Exactly.
If you do, the worst thing with overdosing is nausea and dizziness.
Exactly.
You won't die. Please don't call the emergency room.
Exactly. I hear you.
The-
Okay.
I hear you.
How come you get paranoid sometimes? Like, that's my problem. Like, if
Well,
I
it seems to
don't
me
have
most folks' paranoia concerns with being discovered.
Yeah.
any-
Being, oh, I'm going to get in trouble now. Someone's going to know I'm stoned, and I'll get a thing. And no, I guess not really, not unless you go running naked, screaming out the streets there. Usually.
I
But
could do
it's,
that without really-
That's not medicine. If it does that to you, then that's not your
No,
kind
no,
of
no,
medicine.
no. I said without the medication, I'm good with that.
Well, and you know, we could talk about the psychosomatic effects, the effect on the creativity, imagination centers.
By any chance, can you give us some samples to see if we want to try to get on the program?
Yeah.
At this stage, I can't give it to you, but we'll see if something can be left somewhere. You can find it and
Oh, there you go.
see
That
something
would
like
work.
that.
That would work.
Because we do, I mean, and that's another thing we do different than the other groups is continuing to try to help folks that don't have their card for one reason or another. A very dangerous aspect, but
Yeah,
you know,
oh,
I've been normal for a number of years. I've been, I mean, what we should be all doing is whenever somebody gets busted, we should attend their trial. We should, you know, follow every little pothead that gets busted, and defend them and teach our kids self-defense, what to do during a stop, what to do at a party. You know, we got these videos from the ACLU entitled "Busted," and it's got these 3 scenarios. One kid's walking on the street, the cops come up and shake him down. Oh, he's got a spray can. Well, that's graffiti, and you know, piling charges on him. You're under arrest and shit, and all this nonsense there. Oh, and it could easily have been a joint or paraphernalia, a pipe or something like that. You know. And another scenario was kids at a party, and another was kids in the car. And they walk through, you know, one with the cop doing other things, you know. I'm going to search you, you know, getting them there to search and to seize and to, you know, the different things. And so we like to go out and show that, you know, especially at colleges and so forth. If we can get to the high school, that would be great. Although what we need to see is clubs formed at the high school level. Kids, you know, educating kids and
Exactly.
making resolutions in their school and putting forth initiatives and this whole process. And that's how we're going to end the war. Is, you know,
Yeah, because the youth has the energy.
yeah, for sure. They certainly did it for Obama in 08.
Yes?
Yeah.
This stuff helps your muscles too, huh?
Yep. So,
I'm like,
the best, though, well, it depends, again, on your circumstances. But one thing that we're really excited about is these topical applications. So you can, in making these tinctures and these creams and balms and oils and stuff like that, there's an extractor involved and sometimes a process. The most simplest ones we prefer, obviously. At the other end of the scale is the really complex methods like the Rick Simpson oil, which takes an extractor like a solvent, like say butane, and it's put through, the cannabis is put into a container and it's pushed through, and then what comes out the other end is the concentrated, this stuff here. In some cases, it needs to be treated some more to create the end product, if you will. But that's one, and that has to be heated too, I believe, and so forth. So that's pressure, flame, heat, and stuff like that.
Well, I've done the bubble bag method.
There's a bubbling that gets the trichomes off and creates a hash like substance.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very good stuff.
And so if you wanted to, like in making butter, for example, and we'll quickly go over the butter recipe process because that's another good one.
I watched that channel.
You can, what you want to do is take your after your harvest and you've got your prime cut off and the rest of it, and you can probably you take all the rest of the plant. I mean, even
Exactly.
stems really can go into it, particularly if you have a crystalline one. Although the more stalk you get into it, the more bitter it may be. Put that in a pot, put your butter in, fill the rest with water, bring it to a simmer, and keep stirring.
Uh-huh.
And the longer you go, the better you get. 6 hours is a good
Uh-huh.
time.
Exactly.
You'll then drain that out. The liquid is gathered and put in the fridge.
And you would compress the mash
Yeah.
and get everything out of the mash.
Uh-huh.
Ideally, the best results come from folks that use some kind of press,
Yeah.
like I've heard of apple press being used or a grape press.
Wine press.
And so get your liquid out of that, put it in the fridge. Now the mass can also be used for some things. Put it into little pieces, parse it up, dry it out, and feed it to your animals during times of crisis.
Oh,
4th of July.
oh,
I've even heard
get 'em all.
they would take the mash and throw it through a screen and add it to their flour.
Mhm.
So you had canned flour.
There's still nitrogens and other things in it, so-
Whose dog, but this dog loves to get stuff.
Yeah, they get into your stuff.
He loves it.
We've got the reports on the mash from folks that would dump it and their pets got into it. So
Oh, wow.
You blow this dog shotguns and he loves it.
yeah.
You,
I have a question.
You know, you let him.
You
Dog's
said
there.
water, and you simmer the water, or,
So you got your medicine in the pot. Put your butter in there, and it should be pound for pound. It's a good ratio. Pound of medicine, pound of butter.
1 pound.
Use good butter.
Unsalted if you can.
Mhm.
And then you fill the rest of it with water.
So 1 pound of product, 1 pound of butter, then,
Pound per pound.
then water.
Like how much over the
Put it up to the about
top?
that far from the top. You're not going to be boiling.
No, no.
You
it's
wanna-
gonna
Simmer.
eventually.
Right. You don't want to get too hot because that will vaporize your medicine.
Right.
So
Basically.
don't try to speed the process.
Right. Simmer
6 hours.
with a lid or without a lid?
Without a lid.
Okay, no
We don't.
Because you're constantly stirring
lid.
the
Okay.
mash.
For 6 hours?
Yeah.
Every 15 minutes. or
Every
so.
15 minutes?
We don't suggest folks stand there for 6 hours. But
Hey, but you look like Popeye afterwards.
Well, it's like making a tole, you know, you can't let it stick to the bottom, right?
Uh-huh.
You wanna make sure that they even.
mostly you just want to keep turning it, and keeping it, stirring it up so it's getting it all broken up, and that butter is getting a chance to get in there and attach itself to the trichome and vice versa.
Oh, I see,
See.
yeah.
And other things too.
Right,
The CBDs, the CBNs, they're all in there
mm-hmm.
as well.
And then there's always the quick shake down in the bud too.
You know, and as we end this war and we're able to do more with what knowledge we have, things are going to get a lot better. We know that there's cannabinoids and cannabinoids. The good stuff that's in there isn't the THC. It's CBD, CBN, CBCs, and that's just what we know about now. In Israel, they started off with pot that was CD rich, CBD rich, and THC low. And then now they're working on a process to extract just the CBD out of that.
Oh,
The thing about this is that's really important, especially when we're dealing with reefer madness, is that CBDs, CBNs, CBCs don't get you high. Say, so their, highness and addiction, crap is blown away now with that.
wow.
Say, but they're expensive. It's going to be a while till we're able to get to there. But already in our community, we're discussing which strain is rich in what.
Yeah.
And so forth. Now, the heated method is a quicker process. It's got a, like with your butter and so forth. And you could do this also with oils, with your apple oil, your sesame, your any oil there, right? So and
Extra virgin.
olive oil, right? So, but if you are willing to take the time, you can also do what we refer to as a cold fusion process. See, so you get a container. Again, you put your medicine in, and this time you fill it with this extracting this oil that you want to use. Okay? You shake it on a regular basis, but after 30 days, then you've got something that you can pour out.
Oh,
You'll pour out half of it, put more oil in, a little more medicine.
oh.
Keep agitating,
Well, that
keep
camera's
going.
pointed at you, huh?
Yes.
Okay, you're not, I thought you was filming us. I was trying to be funny.
No, but we're always looking for interviews, folks that want to talk and tell the story.
Yeah.
So that's something that we really push out to folks because it's a good, easy, safe, and applying it in this manner, you, again, eliminate the highness. It's not toxic doing it this way, folks. I mean, even if you had an open wound, you really aren't going to be affected in the same manner. So again, we can talk with folks that are concerned about this for some reason or another, detectable or affecting them. Boom, there, and it gets right to those joints, right to those muscles. You're seeing what that's right now affected like. I mean, already it's working for you guys here. So the power of cannabis. Yeah, Pete.
I was going to ask them, they've tried some of the oil. Do you feel,
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I didn't know it affected like muscle aches and stuff, and I was like, I put it on
Mhm.
this. I always get like from stress. I get like
Mm-hmm.
my neck, you know, my muscles
Yes.
on
Yeah,
my shoulder.
tendons, joints, swelling, seizures, spasticity. Yeah, it's amazing, and it's a crime that is prevented to folks.
And I smell like pasta.
It's lied about, and yeah, and they're still destroying information. They're still out there denying stuff. In Florida, the folks working on the law there put out. We actually got an ad at a NASCAR race about
Really?
marijuana is safer than alcohol.
Yes.
And of
Florida?
course, the feds came out and said, no, that's not true. This time, though, they were held accountable for it. This group called PolitiFact, who once people make statements, goes and checks it out and then writes stories on it, got on their case and said,
Prove it.
what basis are you saying this? Here, let's do the numbers. CDC, the Center for Disease Control, reports there were 41,000 alcohol related, including getting diseases from the alcohol and la la la. Here's the whole suite. There were zero reported marijuana deaths or incidences in that same time frame.
On the commercials, you don't see the officer going, "How many joints have you had tonight?"
Yeah. No.
Usually they don't get up and drive.
So yeah, and that's another thing that we'll probably see. There may have some DUI laws.
Yeah.
They like they did in Washington. They set a 5 nanogram blood level limit,
Nanograms.
Yeah.
and which is about what you would read if you smoked a really
Good blood.
good fatty for probably 2 to 4 hours.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you have to really be messed up.
Hmm.
I think you'd be.
Or eat some cookies or do something to introduce a whole lot of cannabis in your system in a short period of time.
I hear you.
But yeah, we wanted to get that oil making process out there. We've got, oh man, just the most tremendous everything. Oh, cancer. We have a couple with some melanoma,
yeah.
skin cancer,
Oh, yeah.
was using the oil. And we got the pictures now to prove it. We're going to get posted about this blackened disease thing that they were dealing with before and the healthy pink skin, the healing process of it. This is only backing up the reports coming out of Europe that cannabis actually cures cancer. It's not just a part of it. It's
I wonder what it does for impetigo, or the stuff that Michael Jackson used to say he had, where it eats the color of your skin.
I don't know.
Vertiligo.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
If it's
It's
some.
like some kind of fungus that eats the color of your skin.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it
I don't know how it
was
does as a
anti-depressant.
herbicide. Rubbed on that would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I know one thing: it won't kill him. It won't cause cancer. Won't have any of the other nasty side effects that anything he would be using would have.
Yeah.
So it may work or it may not. but it will be benign
Mhm.
Yeah.
compared to everything else
Yeah.
out there.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, so we hope folks, glad you guys got your information there.
Thank you.
I'm sure we'll have some more, so we'll discuss here after our show.
Yeah.
We're winding up here.
Yeah.
But I did want to close off here that to remind folks again about this stupid, wasteful war that is the root of all these people's problems here. And we need to end it, folks. But to do so, it's going to take you and you and you and you and everybody to register, vote, and get everybody you know to do so also. We need to make this constantly out. Everybody has to keep out and get somebody and further until we contacted all of our peeps, all of our people.
Mhm.
There's a lot of folks that aren't going to change, but we have sufficient numbers if we reach them.
Mhm. Reach out to them.
And remember, folks, your cause is just.
Yeah.
Cannabis prohibition has killed more children than cannabis ever will. And that number is only going to get bigger the longer we let this crap go on.
I hear you.
So please, 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 if you do care for your children, end this war. Thanks. That's my statement on the war there.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for all the information.
This has been the Mercy Wednesday, weekly meeting held every Wednesday here at 1745 Capitol Street Northeast. It's 7 to 9. It's free, open to the public. Please come on down to attend. And if you can't make it, you know somebody that should make it, let them know. Spread the word. It's up to you people to make this all happen.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Oh, and thanks for PK helping out with the camera and all. And our good friends at CCTV for providing it and getting this stuff on the air.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Mercy TV.
Do you want to say anything before I turn it off, Glenn?
Yes, good night.
Good night. God bless you all, every single one of you.